Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and on Street Talk we do the political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside.
Paget Maynard.
okay, man, we got a lot to talk about, but I just want to mention, and we've kind of had a little difference about, the voting thing, but to me, to look at 61 or 62% of Hispanic male voted for Trump, and I said it was 2 times as many blacks. I just put it like that: 2 times as many blacks voted for Trump this time. It just really it takes me back to what Frederick Douglass said in 1880 when he was talking about the black man and the white man. He was saying somehow anything the white man do, the black can't do it as good. I mean, it's just simply if a black can do the same thing
And better.
and do it better, but for some reason, a lot of blacks believe that the white man can do it better. So that's where I'm at right now. I mean, I just can't get over. We got a criminal going to be in the White House, been convicted, a criminal, but still, he wins out. A woman with a perfect record and everything, all this learning and everything, and she couldn't win. Dennis, you were saying.
I don't accept your premise at all.
Okay.
Well,
Let me hear it then.
first thing you have to look at, of the reported votes, black women supported Kamala. 94% of black women voted for Kamala. Now, if you got beef with the 6% that voted for Trump, okay.
Well,
I ain't finished. 82% of black men voted for Trump, just like I told you they would. The one group that flipped was Hispanic men. Even Hispanic women in the majority vote for Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. The one group that he flipped was Hispanic men, so I'm not going to accept this premise that black men somehow think the white man's ice is colder, so they voted for him. They voted for him at the same rate they did for Biden, that they did for Hillary, and they did for Obama. Now, which takes me to my main thesis for today, and it may speak to the viability of a program like this. A program like this, when it's done well, influences people to think a different way. And obviously, we're all progressive, we're all Democratic leaning, and we want people to think about Democratic candidates in a positive light and possibly vote for them. But when you live in a nation that doesn't respect democracy, that uses democracy as makeup to hire up to hide an oligarchy, which now is moving into a fascist oligarchy. Mm-hmm. I can't say to anybody out there, get up off the couch and vote. Worry about the midterms in 2 years. Here's what I'm saying. Kamala Harris raised $1 billion in 3 months. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris raised $100 million in the last 2 weeks before the election. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris had arenas, large and small, packed in every venue she went to. Vote enthusiasm through the roof. The morning of the election, a local news show was watching the voter turnout and describing it as wildly enthusiastic, dwarfing what what Biden brought in the 2020 mm-hmm. election. And then at the end of the night, I'm told that Kamala Harris got fewer votes in Philadelphia than Biden or Hillary mm-hmm. or Obama. Mm-hmm. I can't accept that. I'm told at the end of the night that Kamala Harris, with all this wild enthusiasm, and Trump playing the half-empty arenas with people walking out because they're bored, I'm told that Kamala Harris got fewer votes, not only than Trump, she got fewer votes than Biden did in the last election. She got fewer votes than Hillary did. I don't accept that. And here's why I don't accept it. I'm not coming at you with one of these things, it was rigged, like Agent Orange did. I'm coming to you with facts. We know for certain, thanks to investigative workers like Greg Palast and others, that the Trump campaign had an objective of removing 2 million black voters. Well, let me expand that. 2 million voters of demographics, blacks, Asians, women, LGBTQ community. They had them surgically identified with the objective of removing 2 million. 3 weeks before the election, they had 40,000 volunteers in this effort all across the swing states, and they had already identified 800,000 voters that they had removed, and they said that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let me go a little bit further. You had a law passed in Georgia called SB 202. SB 202 said any Georgia voter could challenge the right to vote of any other Georgia voter in an unlimited way. And that language is buried deep within their SB 202 language. So a lot of people didn't see it, but the Republicans did. And they had removed, in early October, nearly 45,000 Georgians from the rolls, unbeknownst to most of them. They had one woman who, ironically, had just moved to Georgia from Canada about a decade ago, and now she's all Confederate. She had removed 37 people herself. She removed a brother who was a major in the Army, whose job was to protect U.S. troops from unforeseen attacks. This is an accomplished man. And he was told by the investigators that he had been removed from the voting rolls. He was gobsmacked. He couldn't understand it. He couldn't believe it when they showed him the proof. The man was so angry he was crying. So we can talk all we want to about who voted for who and what we ought to do in the midterms and the cabinet machinations and all that. But I'm here to say that, in my opinion, we don't live in a democracy where one person has the right to vote the same as the next person. We have an oligarchy that has served us up the most rigged election that we've seen since the 2000 election. And I have questions about the 2004 election out of Ohio. But this one was this one was outlandishly rigged, and I don't accept for a moment that Kamala Harris got fewer votes than Trump, got fewer votes than Biden, and got fewer votes than Hillary Clinton did in 2016. I just don't accept it. So we could talk about who's to blame on the Democratic side for her not winning, but I can't overlook the fact that we ain't talking about democracy. We're talking about rigged elections, performative elections, and now we're moving into an authoritarian model where speaking out doesn't really mean anything other than putting a target on your back.
Well, what I would say it all the time, man, is that if Trump gets in, this country, and it already has, to me, ever since I got out of the war, I've known something, it's like some difficult about this country, We talk about all these other countries, but and we've been, I don't know about now, we've been sending people to election in other places and everything, but I don't know what's happened the last 3 or 4 of these elections.
It's easy to understand, but I'll let Padgett speak, and then I'll tell you why it's easy.
No, to bring up something, what you talk about the taking people off the rolls. Now, Trump and Johnson, the speaker, had, according to them, a secret. Could that have been part of the secret that they had that nobody was to know?
Absolutely. They knew. Look, we know from another investigative reporter that Elon Musk was in constant communication with Vladimir Putin. Why would you be in touch with a man from a dictatorship and you're here in the United States ostensibly as a new citizen? You ought to be a guest. What do you got to do with talking to him about that? And then we come to find out that the Starlink system was used to upload the tabulations from the individual precincts into a central server. We also know that Elon Musk said, if Trump loses this election, I'm probably going to jail for the rest of my life.
Oh.
We also know that Trump had 7 conversations that we know of with Putin. We also know he was talking about this big secret and how it was all going to work out. He had the temerity to tell his voters a month before the election, I don't need your vote. You don't have to vote. I got all the votes I could need.
Exactly.
I don't need you to vote.
That was part
Now,
of the secret.
now wait a
man.
minute. That's like somebody going to work in a bank and telling me, you ain't got to write me a check. I'm going to have enough money, so I'll work here for free. Now, there's more.
Yeah.
But my main point is, if you want to measure the intelligence of the U.S. voter by the outcome of this election, I don't think that's a good way to do it. I think the election that we just experienced has no credibility, has no veracity with me. I don't believe that you had state after state after state pass abortion rights laws while voting for the man who made that decision mandatory. I don't believe that you had women all across the country voting for female governors and female senators and Democrats and then turning around and voting for Trump. I don't believe that it passes the smell test when we saw 8 million ballots in the swing states do a function they call bullet voting. Bullet voting is when you go into the booth and you vote for one candidate only, and you leave. We had 8 million ballots in swing states with hot elections have votes singularly for Donald Trump, and they didn't vote for the governor. They didn't vote for the Senate. They didn't vote for the House. They didn't even vote for the damn dog catcher. But they voted for Trump. 8 million of them.
8 million.
And I'm supposed to sit there on the sideline and twiddle my thumb and do and talk about how come black men and Hispanic men. Man, please. This election was about as legitimate as hell. It wasn't even as legitimate as Adolf Hitler's was, because at least he legitimately won the prime ministry.
Listen, and what you're saying there, it's getting worse every time we have an election. now.
Absolutely it is.
So that Trump might be right. This might be the last time you get to vote.
Yeah. Trump.
He said it.
Yeah, Trump.
And
We all know he ain't the brightest
he-
card in
oh.
the deck, and he kept saying that you won't have to vote again after this one.
Yeah, I mean, he said that to
I'll take care of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
said-
we
This will be the
know
last
what that
time
is
with-
the
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
He said that to these people, man. He was talking to a Christian congregation, and he said, "Hey, y'all vote this time. You won't have to worry about voting again."
But he also
while
told
we're
the
throwing
people-
out, while we're throwing out condemnations, I will say this: the 54% of Latino men who voted for Trump.
64.
I'm sorry, you're right. 64% of Latino men who voted for Trump don't say a damn thing to me when they come get you.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't say a damn thing to me when they send your wife back because she's undocumented.
Yeah.
Don't say a damn thing to me when they tell me that your children, even though they were born here, are no longer U.S. citizens because we're
you-
changing the Constitution to say that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah.
Don't say anything to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do have some resentment to that demographic. But this idea that somehow the voter turnout should have been better, no. The voter turnout was enthusiastic and massive, and it was stolen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then,
Okay.
this guy who you talk about, this Hispanic guy, we work hard, we're hard
Yeah,
workers.
Yeah. Yeah.
All he has to do when Trump sends for him, tell him, well, we're hard workers, so we can't go. And let me see if they're going to leave him. And we know that.
Or how about the white women
Yeah.
who voted because the price of eggs is too high? How much you think the eggs going to cost now when you don't have these neo-slaves working on the agricultural
Price
plants out
going
here?
up.
How much is your bacon going to cost
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
When your Hispanic brothers and sisters came here with ambition to work hard, gain respect, accumulate a little capital, start their own businesses, start their own lives, buy a house, live the American dream, eventually become
yes.
citizens, and you love them being here working for you
For you for nothing,
for
just about.
for pennies, but you're so racist, you're so hateful, you're so anti the creations of God that you'll tell those people, get the hell out of my country, don't look back, and I don't even want you to have an appeal. We're going to knock on your door. We're going to have the military come out in the streets. We're going to gather you up. We're going to put you in trucks. We're going to send you to a camp at the airport, and we're going to deport you out of this country as fast as we can.
Yeah.
When it comes to those people, white Christian women said, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
That's all right with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when your bacon, instead of costing, I don't know what it costs. Let's say it's $3 when it costs $7.
Yeah.
When your eggs go from $3 to $10. When your avocado for your guacamole is up to $50 for one of them. Tell me how good you feel now because this crime wave identified by a convicted criminal,
Yeah.
34 felonies.
Yeah.
Who is sliding all of his cabinet positions with criminals accused of rape, accused of underage drug
thing,
use
drug
with
and
underage
sex.
women and prostitution, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your Christian pious, but you okay with that. Let's see how you okay with the price of food now. Let's see how you do now when you don't have the ability to properly feed your family because it's too expensive.
Well,
And let me go one point further. I hate to interrupt you because I'm fired up. Back during the debates, Trump was talking about, they're coming here to taking black jobs. Everybody laughed at him.
Black jobs.
Now, read Project 2025. Project 2025 pretty much identifies who
The
they
black
think is going to
jobs.
be picking those avocados and tomatoes and the cotton.
Yeah.
Who you think it is?
Blacks.
Yeah, that's the black
Yeah.
jobs that they originally gave us.
Yeah.
So us wearing shirt and ties and us having college degrees and us having skills in the manufacturing plant and working hard,
Forget it.
that ain't for you.
No.
Forget it.
And so the economy collapses. This dude is talking about taking down entire cabinet positions, entire bureaus that
Gonna
make our
close.
government function. And when it collapses and the economy collapses and the government is in sunders, Trump ain't gonna be mad.
No.
Because he's gonna get a pat on the back from his
His
benefactor
boys.
Putin,
Yeah.
who says mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Thanks, because as a Russian dictator with an economy the size of Texas, if that, with an army that can't beat little Ukraine,
Right.
All right.
I was able to take down the mighty, mighty United States and make them irrelevant with one traitor, a network full of liars,
Yeah.
Fox News and their
Yeah.
minions,
Yeah.
and a bunch of dummies out there who don't read, who don't know their history, but love to hate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm done.
I've said it all the time, and a lot of people, a lot of guys I talk to, I don't know about that, but to me, the country is going back to the 30s and 40s.
Of course it is. Of course, man. This is.
I told you
this
all-
is the objective is to bring back Jim Crow.
Yeah.
Women get in the kitchen, take off your shoes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Barefoot and
And
pregnant.
if you ain't pregnant, you about to be.
Yeah.
All you black folks get to the back of the
Yeah,
bus.
yeah.
There's going to be. I know some black Republicans. I know some very wealthy black Republicans. And I'd like to be there the day that I'm in line at the Marriott and there are two people ahead of me and they get up to the counter and that Marriott says, you know what, my manager says we don't take your kind.
Yeah. But people
How
don't.
you feel about that now?
Bunch of people out here. No. That's what Trump wants to get it to.
Of course he does.
That's what he's trying to get it to.
Of course he does.
You were saying, Patrick.
Look, just to touch something you mentioned here. This guy, Miller, was spouting out the other day, America for Americans, they all got to go. Let me ask him the question. Is America a part of Europe, where they are from? They're claiming this place that belongs to the Native Americans, the Indians, who that pushed in a corner on something they call a reservation after stealing so much from them.
And committing genocide to the majority of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's not forget most of them are dead.
You're right. And you now talking about America is for Americans. And who are the Americans you're talking about? The Caucasians.
Yeah.
The white supremacists. those who think that they are above and better than everybody else. But if you're going to work this thing right and you're going to look at it right, every one of them have to go because they're Caucasians, they're from the Caucasus Mountains, Russia, therefore they're Russians. Go back to Russia. Why don't they say that?
Because, man, this ain't about that.
No, it ain't about
that.
No, it ain't. It's not anything like
But
that.
the people don't know it.
not any-
So they're jumping up with what foolishness these people
You know,
talking.
It's not anything like that now. You know, Trump is he's gonna take this country over to something else. You know, it's already for the last 50 years to me has been difficult for me to understand. But you wait till he get through with it.
Well, look, it's underway. The plan is being hatched.
Yeah.
Look at the people he has nominated
Yeah.
for positions
Yeah.
in the government, for secretariats.
Yeah.
People accused of sexual behavior,
Yeah.
bad behavior. They have people who are siding with the enemies of America. They putting people in charge of something as the military with no real experience, no background to accomplish what that gonna need. Millions upon millions of people they got to deal with. They got
Look at it another
Kennedy.
way, though.
yeah.
If you were Putin, and your name was Vladimir,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to weaken the military of the United States,
Mm-hmm.
could you think of a better way to do it than what's being done now? Okay? If
It's
you were
working.
Putin, and you wanted to further weaken
It's
the
working.
educational system of the United States, which has already been undercut.
Put this woman in there.
Yeah. So you put in Pete Hegseth, who has nominal experience in the military, and he is a guy who's been accused credibly of sexual inappropriate behavior. And you tell him, you go in there, and the first thing I want you to do is use the military on the streets of America against people who dare protest against me.
Yeah.
I want you to say to anybody in the military who is an officer based on rank achieved through education and
Hard work,
accomplishment
man.
that it's woke for us to have you because you the wrong color or you got the wrong genitalia.
Yeah.
That's being woke.
Yeah.
We ain't woke.
Yeah.
This is for white men only. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you go tear the military apart. You go tear the educational system apart. You got a quack who's got a worm in his brain who's going to be running
Yes.
the FDA.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go down the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
They are putting in people who can
Only destroy
damage,
it.
Yeah.
destroy
Yeah.
the departments that they're supposed to
Yeah.
be running.
Yes.
And people sitting back, hee-hawing and laughing like, yeah, we own the libs.
Yeah, yeah.
You stupid fool.
Yeah, and then
You the one that's on Medicaid. You the one on Medicare.
Yeah.
You the one that relies on your Social Security check.
Yeah.
And when they come get it, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Because the people like me who would have been willing to help you out because I identify our equal position as being in peril if this thing happens, it's too late now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you notice something is with that. Up to now, they have not submitted some forms they're supposed to so that these people could be vetted.
You know why?
Yes.
'Cause they don't give a damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know why.
And
you know why.
Yeah, they don't
and
care.
a lot of people out there
Right.
don't know why.
Right.
Because they don't want the FBI to get involved.
Right.
Trump is totally against the FBI. And this woman he is bringing in as Attorney General, she has already spouted out that all those who did anything,
Yeah.
had any part to do with him being brought to trial, should be.
Yeah.
And the woman you're speaking of, Gabbard,
Yes.
is spoken of in Moscow.
Yes.
As our girlfriend,
Yes.
our agent.
Yes.
She has been spouting Russia propaganda so much they think of her as an agent. She has traveled to suspicious countries
Like
for
Syria.
suspicious reasons so much that the TSA put her on a watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And now she's going to be in a position of responsibility?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of that
That's what
magnitude?
that's what Putin wants.
Yeah.
Of that
Yeah.
magnitude.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you know, you got your coon clavering, you know, your your Tim Scotts and your Byron Donalds and all these cats sitting on the sideline like, you forget about us, Mouser?
Yeah.
No, I ain't forget about
Yeah.
you. I'm going to give you a job. You can carry the tray from the kitchen
Yeah.
out here to the food where
Yeah.
we're going to be.
Yeah, and you got this guy from he was working for one of the stations, one of these old right wing stations. Now he's something, and Trump done got him for something.
But I'm not sure who you mean. But the whole point is, I must have people around me who are going to just accept
Yeah.
whatever I say.
Right.
That's
don't
what
know
Trump.
nothing. Don't-
Trump has this attitude of the big boss man.
Right.
And he wouldn't even have to say everything out.
Well,
Just
I'll
hint.
take you a little one further. We got a minute and a half left. I'm going to tell you this on the air. I think the GOP is happy with Trump once he makes it to the swearing in. After that, they're going to be like, hey, man, why don't you have a side of bacon with that Big Mac and your Diet Coke? Why don't you go walk outside without a hat on? Why don't you go ahead and do whatever you can to make your health go away? Because we got the real president who bought Twitter, called it X, who's taking orders from Putin. And we've got an articulate spokesman in Junior Varsity Vance to run the agenda forward. We don't need you anymore, Trump. You can croak. Now, it's going to hurt his yahoos, the people who love him so much, but when it comes down to the practicality of their movement, they don't need Trump anymore. Trump, once he puts his hand on that Bible and catches it on fire, they don't need him anymore. And that's where Trump was prescient when he said, we won't need you to vote anymore in the future.
Well,
We don't need you to get out and do any of this door-to-door stuff. We got all the votes we need. We don't live in a democracy, gentlemen. And we need to disabuse ourselves of the notion that it's all about persuading Latino men, recalcitrant black men, Uncle Tom black women. It ain't that. That's it.
But at the same time, I just don't, and I won't speak any more about. Of course, when I was speaking all these other years, I was saying black and Hispanics, but to see what these Hispanic men did this time, voting, I'm not going to include them anymore in anything that I'm talking about. All right.
The whole point is, man, we got to be ready. I know and believe it is not going to be a surprise to me if they come and look for us because they see what we say. Because you talk truth and they don't want truth.
Oh, no.
If you're going to get up there and say truth, then you are the enemy. And all these people here already see us as enemy.
All right. That's going to be it for tonight, but catch us again next week. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and we catch you down the next block for more Street Talk. Peace.
Yeah, catch us while you can.
Yes. Because we listen.
Be in the block. be
With
the
all
gulag.
due respect,
It's gonna
you
be the gulag in a minute.
With all due respect,
But man,
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty much sort of expecting it's going to happen. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm expecting it would happen. So when it happens, I wouldn't be surprised. And first off, man, hey, you come here from wherever you come from. Okay, give me back my passport. Get out.
well,
I could do that.
This show been going on for 30 years now, man, and it's like I'm not going to change for what I do and what I say. Hey,
Well, maybe Trump might come and give us a nice paycheck so that we don't say these things anymore.
hey, man, I mean,
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.